Today's episode is a double rant, May 18, 2022 and November 18, 2022. First, I'll rant on May 18, 2022, and before I start, to anyone who likes this day, I can handle your thoughts on it as long as you handle mine. Anyways, enjoy. May 18, 2022, this day sucks. This day has gotten to be my number one hated day of 2022, according to my top 15 worst days of 2022 video that I uploaded back in December 2023. I'm going to explain the story about why this day sucks so extremely bad. In my opinion, sometime when I wake up, I probably give my grandma a birthday letter. There's nothing bad about this part, and later, I walk to school. After that, I was getting ready to go on the field trip to the Good Time 3 boat. And while I getting ready for the trip, I let Ms. Lottie know that it's my grandma's birthday. And later when we went to the cafeteria to grab a bag of lunch for our trip, and then get on the bus to go to the place to get on the boat. We went on the second or third floor of the boat to enjoy the view. And then I took a picture of a bird standing on top of the light or whatever. A couple of minutes later, the boat started to move while we were sitting outside. A little bit after that, me, Ginabana, and Elijah went inside the boat to eat our lunch. A bit later, it was getting a little bit cold the entire time, which causes Ginabana to get sick, and to get a little bit aggravated. Then later, we went downstairs, and we sat in the table, and then later on, I went to buy myself a hot dog. And I went back to the table to eat, and then later on, when it was time for the boat to go back to its place. We get off the boat to go back to the bus to get ready to go back to school, and then we head back to school, and we're back to school. We sit in Miss Green's classroom, and while that, I was sitting on a beanbag. And I don't remember where my classmates sitting at, and then we were taking a nap until it was time to get ready to go to Miss Lottie's classroom. I might skip to the part that it was time to go home for dismissal. I wait for my mom to pick me up and take me home, and then we went home. Later, my brother came home from the staying after school thing he had, then he went upstairs. Unfortunately, I heard him fell down. And then my mom and my grandma went upstairs to check in on him, and unfortunately they noticed his forehead bleeding, and it made my mom start freaking out, and then I check in and then unfortunately. My brother told me to shut up. Have he lost his mind? He should not have speak to me like that, like I wasn't being negative. And a couple minutes, my mom called the ambulance, but before that, she also told my grandma and she also told me to shut up. Have she also lost her mind? She also should not have done that. And then I start acting up. They should not have made me start acting up. And then later, I went back to my room and I slammed the door, and I started crying. I knew this was gonna happen. I apologize for saying this, but this is just how I feel. Then later the paramedic came. And I talked to one of the paramedics for a little bit. Then, later on, my mom and my brother left the house to go to the hospital. A few minutes later, I have a little bit of a talk with my grandma about something. Then after that I talked to my brother on the phone, and I don't remember what else I did for the rest of the day, but I will say that later on my mom and my brother came back from the hospital. And that's it. This has gotten to be the worst day of 2022 I have ever had in my life. The only things I like about this day that my grandma turned 64 years old, I give my grandma a birthday letter. And I enjoyed a good view on the Good Time 3 boat trip, and that's it. Thank goodness this day ended at midnight. And thank goodness it's in the past now. I'm not sure who likes. Here's the list of a user who hates this day. Ilul Errol. Ilul Errol told me to put her in this spot. May 18, 2022 sucks. And so does November 11, 2024. February 28, 2024 is so many times better than May 18, 2022, end of rant 1. Next, I'll rant on November 18, 2022, and before I start this rant. To anyone who likes this day, I can handle your thoughts on it. Anyways, enjoy. November 18, 2022, this day sucks. I'm going to explain my story about why this day sucks. In my opinion, when I wake up I was feeling a little sick, my throat was hurting me, so I tried having a little honey, and then later I went to school. When it was time to get ready for Special Olympics trip, we were waiting for the bus to come pick us up, and we went to this one place for a Special Olympics. We were getting ready to play soccer, then later while we were playing the soccer, my nose kept on running over and it's getting annoying to me to the point where I kept going to the bathroom just to clean my nose with paper towel, and then later, when it was time for lunch, we had pizza, but unfortunately, it didn't taste right because of my throat was hurting. I really hate it when my taste buds are messed up because of my sickness. I'll skip to the part that Special Olympics was over. We went back on the bus to go back to school and my nose just keep like running on me, and once again, it was getting really annoying. I didn't want this day to be like May 10th, 2022 all over again. But it came a little bit worse than May 10th, 2022. Why? Because when we came back to school I'm still feeling the same thing over and over, and later, when it's time to go home, I probably noticed that there's no internet for a couple of days. It was probably because the squirrel chew on one of the wire. But I didn't know until a couple days later after November 18th, 2022. Now back to this day, sometime later. My mom gave me medicine. And then at night I went to sleep. Thank goodness this day ended at midnight. And thank goodness it's in the past now. Here's a list of a user who likes this day. Ilul Errol told me to put her in this spot. I can handle her opinion on it. And I'm not sure who hates this day, so I'll leave it be. November 18th, 2022 sucks. And so does October 29th, 2024, to anyone who likes this day, opinion handled. Cartoon Network is so many times better than November 18th, 2022, end of double rant. Next rant, shows ending in a cliffhanger. And after that, arguments. After that, April 7th, 2025. And after that, road rage.